So long as like alchemy.
Damian getting daps from everybody after this game. All right, we saw Clay's rebound, his putback, and then that wild finish. What kind of poise did you guys show at the end of this game?
Just stay calm, just keep a clear mind, just try to focus on, pretty much just, blocking the pass, so, yeah.
Did you get a piece of Shumpert's pass there?
Yeah, got like a tip of it, so, yeah.
And this just recaps an amazing game for you. 13 points, 6 rebounds. What helped you play inspired tonight?
I had a long talk with my mom yesterday, just helping me, just clearing my mind and stuff, so that helped, so, yeah.
You came into this in a good place. Would you call this your best game as a pro?
It was a pretty good game. I don't know. Somebody else can tell me if it was the best or not, so I don't know, yeah.
Tell me about your teammate, KD. Looking at his line, 44, 13, and 7. What kind of competitor does he transform in? Come in these games.
KD just went crazy. He just had that game. He had in his mind, he's going to take us to the promised land. So, rebounding, scoring, he did it all. So, yeah.
All right, and sum it up for me. You guys have won back-to-back games now. You have some players coming back from injury. Does it feel like you guys are building something right now?
Yeah, we just keeping that competitive spirit, just keeping continuing on. So, when they do come back, we still have the same fire. So.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right, question number 1. You already know the title. You've already clicked on the video, so you know what the subject is. What does Damian Jones do better than Jordan Bell on the basketball court? My point, right? So you could argue Jordan Bell is not a center. He's not a traditional 5. But take a look around the league. How many traditional 5s are there playing heavy minutes, right? You could also tell me Steve Kerr loves to start games with the traditional 5, a true big center. Okay, fine. But again, I ask the question, what does Damian Jones bring to the table that Jordan Bell doesn't? Now, I've been highly critical. My patrons know I've been highly critical of Damian Jones this season. Pick on Damian, but there's certain things that just drive me crazy. So he goes for the loose ball. Vucevic is on the other side. Now, what exactly does he want to do here? A normal defender, I'll tell you what a normal defender big man does is he slips behind Cook and he protects the paint and comes out if Vooch stays in the corner. Watch Damian. Not only is he timid and slow processing, but he's a bit lazy. I've gone as far to call him dumb. And it is what it is. I think it was a bit out of frustration. Now as a coach, coaching youth, I've learned not to use those words. There's words you can work around with. Slow processing, right? Not aggressive, right? And I've gone back and forth about what the issue is with Damian Jones. We all see the physical talent. And we all know, because you look at, I started to just research a little bit about who he is. There's not a ton of information. 3 years at Vanderbilt, was majoring in engineering science, right? And seemed like he came from a good family. And we all know the kid or the guy at work who is super book smart, right? He's super book smart. You give him a problem, you give him 4 days, he'll figure anything out, right? But on the spot, 90 seconds, how do you defend that pick and roll? Do you dive? Do you pop, right? 90 seconds, the guy in the office, give me this. What do you think of this? They can't do it, right? They need time to process. And that's what it appears to be the issue with Damian Jones, right? Is it some of paralysis by analysis? He's overthinking issues rather than just going and using his physical attributes. Now, clearly, Jordan Bell doesn't have that issue. And so to the casual fan and the non-casual fan, the hardcores like myself, it makes you wonder. You see Jordan Bell crack the rotation these last few games, and you're like, man, I brought this up on my Patreon. I'm like, dude, have we stunted Bell's growth a little bit here by kind of continuing to give Damian Jones all these opportunities? And, so I'm like, why is that? Why is Damian Jones just, the franchise just has this belief in him, and because I'm not seeing it. And I know that there's much smarter basketball minds than mine within that organization. And I know they see what I see, right? Whether part of it's innate, his lack of aggression. But again, the way he processes, that's not something that's going to change. I know it and they know it, right? So I started to think, why is this the case? Now, You say, oh, is he a stopgap for Boogie? Okay, fine. We don't know if Boogie's going to be healthy. Newsflash, y'all. I'm excited too, but we don't know. And so the second question I propose to y'all is, who really picked Damian Jones? 30th pick, 2016. And, you know, you always see it during the draft, the war rooms. You got maybe an owner in there, the GM. So you've got Lacob, Myers, Kerr. I've heard Draymond's been in there, right? It's a collective. But not everybody agrees on picks. Let's be real. That'd be ridiculous. If everybody agrees on picks, you either have the number one pick and there's a consensus, or you need to shuffle the room around, because you shouldn't. You shouldn't. That's how it is. So when I ask who really picked Damian, there was somebody that had a very strong opinion that swayed them that way. I doubt it was a consensus, not at the 30th pick. And so is that Bob? Is that Joe? I don't know. Now, there's another element to this, because they picked up the option on Damian Jones. Not that it was huge money, but every little bit of money counts when you're dealing with the luxury tax and this inflated salary cap that the Warriors are going to have, right? So they picked up his option when they didn't pick up Kevon Looney's. Now, it doesn't look that bad because somehow they retained Kevon. But they keep on investing in Damian Jones, and we were waiting to see. And honestly, last year, I didn't see enough. I was intrigued. I was like, they believe in this guy. You see the physical attributes. Let's see it. Now, 20 games in, not going to be able to do it, right? Shout out Jalen Rose. And so looking at that interview I played you in the beginning, back to that. Now I've been rambling here for 5 minutes, but I thought it was very telling in showing his personality, how bashful and timid he is. And he's a sweet kid, for a lack of a better term, right? You're like, oh man, you want it for him. You want it for Damian, right? And then contrasting, you see Jordan Bell with his tongue out. He's got that shit-eating grin on his face, right? He's cocky, a little bit abrasive, right? They're contrasting on and off the court. And it reminded me of a book that I read 5 or 6 years ago called The L Factor. And no, not L, not taking the losses, likability. And the book, basically, it stresses the importance of your likability in the workplace and in whatever career that you're in, because that's how you play the game. You hear office politics, and we can even relate it to school, right? There's the kids that, they're maybe not that handsome, or girls that's not that pretty, and they don't, they ain't that, but people just like them. You can't pinpoint what it is, but there's more. They like them, and everybody does. The likability factor. Now, there's things you can do to enhance that, right? But it's kind of innate. It is. And I go back to Jordan and Damian, and I think Damian's L factor, his likability, is just much higher than Jordan Bell's.
Damian getting daps from everybody after this game. All right,
and you say, Al, man, calm down. What you talking about? Now, you have to remember, us fans, we're looking from the outside in, right? From the inside out, from Kerr to, pay attention, Bob Fitzgerald and Jim Barnett. When Damian Jones makes a mistake, they're like, oh, he's got to learn to anticipate. And, Damian, he's it's always a positive kind of modest criticizing of Damian Jones. But when Bell does something, you'll hear, oh man, he's got to catch that. I don't know what he's doing there. He's got to do something with that. And so it shows throughout the organization in the way they talk about these two players. So there's that factor. But then also there's something called choice supportive bias, AKA Jerry Jones syndrome. And we all know what this is, and we all experience this. Once you've bought something, right, you're going to justify the purchase. You like it better. You want it more. And that's why I had brought up who chose Damian Jones. Now, you could say the same thing about Jordan Bell, right, that they want to push, they want to support why they drafted him. But again, who chose Jordan Bell? Who chose Damian Jones? What's going on behind the scenes? Don't get this twisted. I'm not trying to create a controversy. This isn't some big deal. This is just a little underlining storyline. What are we, 21, 22 games into the season? Something I've discussed with my patrons. We just take deeper dives into what's going on rather than the surface stuff. And again, what got me to thinking about it was Bell's emergence into the lineup the last 3 or 4 games, and watching Damian Jones repeatedly just make mental errors that I don't see him fixing. And so I ask you guys, because I think that's what's popped into my head, and that's what I think. And I understand they don't play the, Bell, you could say, is more of a 4. They're both 4-5s. Well, I guess Damian's a pure 5. But I do think at this point we need to see, and I know Boogie's lying in wait, right? But we need to see Bell given more opportunity. Now, I bring this up because I think this has stunted Bell's growth a bit. I've heard stories his work ethic isn't what they want it to be. He is cocky, right? So there is counter arguments to this. Is this their way of kind of just tightening the reins on Bell and trying to get him to work harder and understand what it is to be a pro, right? So there is a counter argument. I understand that. I will throw another conspiracy out at y'all. Are they sandbagging Jordan Bell's growth so we can retain him cheaper, right? Because we all know the cap situation that the Warriors are facing moving forward. If Jordan Bell's playing 18, 20 minutes a night, getting a couple putback dunks, hustle energy, 50-50 balls, getting Oracle on their feet, right? How much more difficult is that going to be to possibly retain Jordan Bell moving forward? We always hear they're light years ahead. That would be a sneaky ass move. I'll just throw that out there. But I think moving forward, I'd like to see Bell play more. Damian, there's a sunken cost to what Damian Jones was. It wasn't he's not like the 8th pick in the draft, or you know what I'm saying? But I think it's time now, and with Boogie coming back, we're going to see less and less in Damian Jones. And I made the prediction on my last patron breakdown. I think these first 25, 30 games is going to be the most minutes Damian Jones ever plays in the NBA consistently. Will he be out of the NBA? Probably not, because you see his physical attributes and you see how likable he is, how humble he is, right? So teams are always going to be willing to keep him around and hope that something can click for him, at least, for a few more seasons. But as far as the Warriors go, I think it's time to stop stunting Bell's growth and move on from Damian Jones. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Always hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.
So long as like alchemy.